Wow, how flashy. Your storytelling is lacking any vibrant sparks of color. At least spice it up a bit. Flashy work here. Keep it coming!
Animation quality has reached breathtaking new heights. What was once a rarity is now the standard, with fluid action, stunning detail, and cinematic artistry that pushes the medium beyond imagination. But I have to ask, at what cost? Before we answer that question, I'd like to first explore how our expectations for anime have gotten so high in the first place. In general, we've seen so many shows in recent years that have upped the standard for what can be expected out of anime. If you want my own personal observations, I would say Demon Slayer is probably the biggest culprit for this. It was specifically episode 19 with its astounding animation where the show began to blow up in virality, and everyone began to know about this show and watch it. Many people felt as though the anime had cinematic quality animation, and honestly, I can see that. I mean, the actual Demon Slayer movie, Mugen Train, that came out after this is pretty comparable to what we see in the show, and would also go on to become the highest grossing Japanese film of all time, a title it still holds to this day. And of course, this got people's expectations higher than ever before, to the point that it now feels like anything less than mind-blowing is considered a disappointment. I remember back in the day when shows like Naruto, One Piece, or even Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, while they didn't have the most jaw-dropping, mind-blowing animation of all time, were still loved and accepted en masse. But now it feels like even if you have pretty good animation, many people will still label your anime a disappointment. Dazzling visuals, that's inevitably what's going to be the most viral thing in this day and age of social media and immediate online consumption. It's the easiest, most surface-level element to look at, enjoy, and critique. And look, animation obviously matters. I mean, would you prefer this or this? Yeah, I think we all know the answer to that. Animation is super important, but it also isn't the only thing that matters. So does, good story, characters, themes. We need these things as well as good animation. However, it seems as though certain fans have decided to chase the dragon that is Sakuga. Wait, what even is that? Sakuga is basically a term used in anime to describe an animated sequence that is noticeably higher quality than the animation in the rest of the show or movie. Often, Sakuga is reserved for very important scenes that were designed to stand out, stuff like fight scenes or emotional moments. And these are often some of the best parts from these anime, so naturally you might want to ask, well, if these are some of the best scenes, why don't we just make it to where all of the anime is Sakuga? And the answer to that is, it's hard! The fact is, breathtaking animation isn't easy to do. It takes time, manpower, dedication, vision. You can't just pop this stuff out. This is why animation like this is often reserved for the moments in which it'll be the most impactful. It makes these sequences stand out more, as well as eases stress on the production, in theory. The issue is that in the modern era of anime, it seems as though some fans just want more and more Sakuga moments. And what only exacerbates things is how the studios themselves wish to benefit from it. It's no secret now that anime is a massive industry at this point for Japan. It's more popular and mainstream now than it's ever been in its entire history. And it would appear as though that many studios and license holders want to take advantage of this popularity as soon and as effectively as humanly possible. You guys know MAPPA, right? We've done a few videos on them in the past. They're one of the most prolific anime studios in this day and age. Their CEO, Manabu Otsuka, has gone on record saying that the studio aims to compete and grow by basically making a ton of super high quality, prestigious anime as quickly as possible. Like, you hear that and you think, well, that can't work. How are you going to be able to do that without absolutely killing your animators? And guess what? It does work. How? You just kill the animators. It's that easy, man. Mappa has seen a ton of success. They're an incredibly well-known studio with very popular shows that license holders want to work with. Their strategy is working because we live in a community where incredibly flashy, intricate animation is demanded. Animators are being ground up in the gears of an unforgiving industry, and we all cheer because we get to watch Sukuna destroy Shibuya. Yay! Yay! Look, he's killing everyone! Just like Mappa is killing everyone. It's funny how that works, huh? Look, I don't work in the anime industry, but from what I'm seeing, this isn't going to be very sustainable in the long term. For one, because of this new obsession for mind-boggling animation, Yuichi Fukushima, the producer for Spy X Family, has said that 2 core or 20+ episode series, if you're not an anime freak like me, are beginning to dwindle. We're not seeing as many of them as we had in the past because packing that much high-quality animation into over 20 episodes is incredibly difficult. In general, when you have to strive to make the best animation possible under a short time frame, it leads to all kinds of serious issues and delays. Attack on Titan was notorious for delaying and splitting up its final season to the point that it became kind of a meme. Zom 100, they weren't even able to finish the full opening until 3/4 of the way through the anime. And that's on top of the delays the show was already experiencing. I mean, the second season of Jujutsu Kaisen, one of the most popular anime in recent years, aired with unfinished animation. It's so clear that this strategy of striving for the best animation in the shortest time possible is gonna end up falling apart in the long run. It's just not healthy. But you know what? I'm a hypocrite. I can sit here and act all high and mighty, like, oh, people are too critical and their expectations are too high. But at the same time, I can't act like when I see this incredible animation, I'm not also getting giddy and excited. I too have that monkey part of my brain that just loves seeing stuff like this, and I can't help it. Anime is an industry of creativity and innovation. It's natural that we want to see it improve and get better and better. And you know what? I think animators feel the same way. They're creatives who want to push themselves and etch their name into the industry. And by all means, right? The issue is that higher ups will see the strive for hard work and take advantage of it. A lot of animators new to the industry often can't even afford their own apartment. Some of them even have to live with their parents because it's not just a job to them, it's their life, their passion. And thus, this passion is exploited. The issue doesn't come from the high quality animation itself, rather the business that's employed to create it in the first place. I don't think animators simply ceasing to make great animation is going to solve anything. It would help alleviate the pressure and workload for sure, but at the same time, it also invites stagnation and mediocrity. So how exactly can a solution be found? Well, there's various people in the industry who have given their 2 cents. Shoji Kawamori, the creator of Macross, aka Robotech in the US, has stated that he thinks AI is the solution, and that despite people's aversion to the technology, sees it being pushed in the future nonetheless. From a cost and speed perspective, I think it's inevitable AI is going to be used. Putting aside the controversy, I think it's just going to happen. Then you have Yuichi Fukushima, the guy I mentioned before, who stated that in the future he'd like to implement a system in which anime is produced years ahead of its release. Right now, it feels like anime production is very reactionary. People will greenlight a project and then expect it to be released next year. These tight schedules combined with high expectations are leading to production suffering in major ways. Whereas if production was scheduled a few years ahead of an anime's planned release, there'd be more time to make high quality animation and a lot more leeway that wouldn't lead to tons of delays. Another solution for this could also just be, hiring more people. It's well known at this point that there's a labor shortage within the anime industry. Less and less people are wanting to be animators on these shows. We go into more detail in this video, link here if you want to watch it, but the major issue is that animators are treated horribly, and many studios can't even afford to give them livable wages. If more money were to flow into these studios, then not only could animators be paid fairly, but they could also hire more hands to help with the heavy workload. People within the industry are discussing ways that studios can be given more money to make these changes, specifically through government intervention that would create new pathways of revenue flow that would hopefully begin to trickle down to the animators' wages. I don't know what's going to be implemented in the future, but I think what's clear is that those in charge need to figure something out. It's so easy to see anime as this gigantic entity that's impossible to fail, but we're already seeing the cracks begin to form. I think it's clear that this just isn't sustainable in the long term. I don't think it's inherently wrong to want good animation, but I also don't think it's right to achieve that animation at the expense of others. Really, the most important thing in the future is to just find a balance.